All right, welcome back to NB3 Sports Talk, episode 10. I know we had a little bit of layoff here, but we got back here. We got sports back. Um, Middle of August, playoffs started, and we've had a lot going on since we've last joined. We've had familiar faces here. We have, of course, we got Big Nate and Neil with us. We have Snoop back with us, but we also have a new face here, Casey. Casey and I work together. Say what's up, Casey, or whatever.
What's going on, people?
Yeah, what's good, Casey? So Casey's going to join us today, and we're just going to basically talk about everything that's transpired with the NBA the last couple of weeks. Particularly this last weekend with that battle for that H seed and that play-in game, and also just who are we going to pick to win the East and the West. We got Cordell just hopped in. Perfect timing. We just introduced and everything.
Good.
It's good. Cordell, this is Casey. Casey and I work together. Of course, you know everybody else.
Right. What's up, everybody?
Hey, man, how you doing?
That's a fellow Washington fan, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ain't many of us left.
Nah,
Many of us left.
Nah, they're trying to stall us out.
Migrating to Baltimore.
Nah, they don't want us out here either. We got a team.
Yeah, man. So we gonna dive right back. Basically right into it. We had 8 games played by every team before the playoffs began back in the bubble. So I just wanted to ask, it's a lot of skepticism going on in social media, whether it was Damian Lillard or Devin Booker. Who was your choice for the bubble MVP through those 8 games? Let me just say my choice is it's tough because Damian Lillard did ball out and got his team into the playoffs, but I feel as though at the same time, Devin Booker really should be the bubble MVP to me, just because he took his team. They had a 0.2 or 2% chance of making it to the playoffs. They won 8 games, and even though they didn't make it into the play-in game, they still won 8 games and was right there with Memphis and Portland. So that's my choice for Devin Booker, even though, Dame did ball out and did eventually get the bubble MVP. But my choice would have been Devin Booker just because he uplifted that whole team. And they beat good teams. That's the big thing. I think it was only one team they played, the Wizards, who's not that strong. But all the rest of those teams were playoff teams in the East and Western Conference. So they beat all of those teams. And, it came down to the edge for a couple of them. But, that's all you need is to edge out those teams. So Devin Booker definitely put the league on notice as well. I believe, with this bubble and, going forward, he's just 23. And he's just going to get better. I think it's good for him to stay in Phoenix, though. Unlike Draymond said, get him out of there. I think because he can attract people to come out there on the West Coast, play with him and everything. But whoever wants to go next, tell me who y'all bubble MVP choice is through those 8 games.
By show of hands, who thinks is Devin Booker?
Whack.
I want to say Devin Booker because of the fact of, one, we already know what Dame can do. Once you piss Dame off, we already know who Dame is. Dame was not mediocre, but he was really average to Dame standards until they pissed him off. And then, boom, he came back with a fire in the last 4 games after the Clippers thing, once PG started making fun of him. Everybody expected Patrick Bev to say something, but when PG got in it, I think that kind of ruffled his feathers. So he just put the team on his back a little bit more. He did make the right plays when they played Memphis, but I think Devin Booker overall leading that team to 8 straight games of wins and putting them within a jump shot from LeVert from the Nets of getting in. Because the dude at the Nets made that shot, Phoenix is the play-in game. So it was that close for him getting in there. So I would pick Devin Booker just because of that. Every single game he showed up, there was no slacking in it. even when you knew it. I don't agree with Draymond that he should get up out of Phoenix. Yeah, he probably will eventually leave because he's going to need the spotlight. He's going to need a bigger market. However, with Monty Williams down there and the pieces that they got and what they trying to put around him, I mean, they got some pieces. They just needed some time to gel. And I think them coming back into the bubble, you can see some gel. He's got a point guard now. When nobody knew Devin Booker had hops like he had, he didn't display that at Kentucky that much. So he is a true two guard, a scoring guard with a backup point, a combo guard. They got Rubio running the point. They got the big dude down the middle. They got some pieces that they can add some stuff. Because remember, they still got the dude that they got from the my man that they got from the Wizards that was hurt.
Kelly Oubre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they still got Kelly. So they got
Should
some
never let him go.
that they could get. They could put around Devin Booker that he will be all right for the next couple of years. Because Phoenix ain't gonna try to let him go. He gonna get the Supermax deal and everything else that he want just because of that. But I will pick Devin Booker just because of that.
Yeah, I'm agree with you on that. I think Devin Booker was the MVP just because he did his job. Like, he was a jump shot away from making the playoffs. So you really can't fault him. Like, he didn't lose any game. Like, if they lost one game, they're out of it, period. So he went in there. And my thing about it, like the Draymond Green thing, I think the Suns are not a bad team. Like, they're just in the Western Conference, so it's hard for them to get, notarized. But they're a couple pieces away, and that really showed they should really be proud of what they did, because next season people gonna look at them like, we can't play around with the Suns anymore, and it's gonna make Devin Booker even, probably a superstar soon. So I think he's the MVP. He played good every single game. Only game that wasn't really good, probably the Wizards, because it's the Wizards. Like, you don't have to show up against the Wizards because they stink. But every other game, he had the game winner against Kawhi and Paul George in his face. That was Kobe Bryant coming back to earth. Like, that was crazy. So but we all know what Dame Lillard can do. If the Blazers were like this all season with the team they have now, that's not a regular AC. That's like a 4 or 5 seed. So we expect a lot of Dame Lillard. He's going to keep doing what he do. So I'm going to give it to Devin Booker just because he got some notoriety and people asking to see how good he is, because the Suns don't get nationally televised games. So it's good to see Devin Booker get some limelight, get some respect.
Well, I guess I'll break it up. And,
We already know you're going a different way. We seen you feeling about 5 times.
I got to, because people get into this argument even about the regular NBA MVP. And it's always, okay, do we vote most valuable player to their team, or do we vote for the best headline, the best story of the league? And Devin Booker, to me, is a story of the bubble. Yes, he played great. Yeah. All 8 games, they went 8-0. Nobody knew we're all surprised at the fact that the Suns were 8-0. And I do want to say that I don't think that we can discount all the nuances that we've seen in the bubble. We've seen players play outside of their element in the bubble. We've seen teams like the Suns play outside of their element. I do think that once it gets back to regular, we'll see some of this stuff not necessarily happening the way we are now. You got to take into account there's no fans, there's no travel. This is basically straight AAU ball. These guys are playing loose and free, and guys are playing above and beyond what I would argue that they would have been playing had the season had ever taken a break. So with that being said, I'm still going to vote Dame, because Dame, I believe, is the most valuable to his team. I don't think that the Blazers get into this 8th seed if Dame ain't playing. And you could say the same thing for the Suns too, but the difference is the Suns aren't here. Yeah, the Suns went 8-0, but that 8-0 still wasn't good enough to get them into the playoff, playoff game, which shows how far behind they already were. Yeah, they're hot now. They're hot today in the bubble, but I'm just taking into account what would have happened. I'm partially putting in what would have happened had the bubble not happened. And even still, Dame, if Dame doesn't go as crazy as he went, the Blazers aren't in the playoff. They're not here. They're not here. I mean, yeah, we could say we expect this from Dame and all this and that, but we expect things from a lot of players that let us down, that don't meet those expectations and don't go above the expectations the way we saw Dame do it. I just think, Portland went from being out of the playoffs to taking over that 8th seed. And I mean, we watched him will his team into the playoffs. And Devin Booker tried. He tried. But Devin Booker needed things to fall his way that didn't fall his way.
Now, the NBA, I can't take my hat off to Adam Silver because he did do something that got all of us involved. All of us were a little taken back of the bubble, but when he created these teams that went in, when the Wizards went in, and then the other teams from the Western Conference went in with 9, and then he had 13 on the other side. I was like, man, what is 13 total? I was like, what is he doing? Memphis got the raw end of the deal. Memphis was clearly in that spot. They got the raw end, but he added excitement to these games that Phoenix, nobody expected, like you said, Cordell, Phoenix to go 8-0. Nobody expected that. But now everybody was watching Devin Booker every day. You Dame that went off after the controversy with them and the Clippers. Now everybody's watching Dame, so everybody's pulling for it. And the thing was set up. I think he set it up to get, what's the name, in the playoffs, to get Zion or to get a play-in to where they would be better to, get a feel for it. And he got all of us involved. I mean, all of us, we watching the game where there's no fans there. They got crowd noise with some fans. That's why the backup players. They ain't got nobody booing them. Everybody on their side. They ain't going in that. I mean, you look at the Lakers and the Clippers. Even if you went into L.A., 75 to 85% of that crowd will be Lakers crowd, even if it's a Clippers home game during the playoff. You ain't had that in the bubble. You had perfect crowd noise, fans on each side. They cheering things. The rookies and the players on the end of the bench, they ain't had nobody booing them. Ain't wasn't no pressure. They just all shooting. We all balling. Like I heard LeVert say for the Nets. The Nets were down 33 points. And they were clamping him down. They were double teaming him. They were putting the Dame defense on him, getting the ball out of his hand. But he had 12 assists at halftime. And he said, man, this is just ball. We just got to keep hooping. And it's a long game and a long series. And they cut that joint down to 9. just
no pressure. The bubble has alleviated the pressure. I think it's made pressure situations much easier. Like there's no hassle. You're playing in front of your peers. You got guys from other teams that'll come sit on the side that may seem to be heckling because Dame was cussing somebody out after the game the other night. It's guys on the sideline saying something, but nothing compared to the grueling aspects of the NBA of going on the road, that just being tired, catching a plane overnight and all. It's a lot that goes into being a professional athlete that is taken away now in the bubble to where guys just basically need to go from their hotel room down to the gym and back up. That's their day. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's why I said I think a lot of guys who we aren't used to seeing play at their level, i.e. TJ Warren, we're able to see them play a lot better now because they're in a way better, easier going element that's less stressful.
But what about those guys that are struggling, though? There's a lot of them. Danny Green.
Yeah. Well, Danny Green benched. I mean,
there's a lot of guys struggling out in the bubble, man.
Danny Green is a light switch. You never know when Danny Green's just going to just decide to not play basketball anymore. I mean, you can't get those kind of guys. I put no stock into. Honestly.
What you thinking, Casey? Who your pick?
I mean, I was trying to let everybody go, but one thing that everybody keeps mentioning, or a few people have mentioned, is pressure, right? And I think Dame had the most pressure going down into the bubble because he said, "Give me a chance to go down there and make the playoffs. Otherwise, I'm not coming." So then David Stern says, "Okay, here, let me set you up. We're going to do this play-in tournament. Y'all get 8 games to make y'all case." Now, sure, the Suns went 8-0, but I think that's mainly because, one, playoff teams are not playing all out. They're not trying to get hurt before the playoffs actually start. 2, if we're talking about who the actual MVP is, I can't say Devin Booker did more for his team than what Dame did. Dame literally put the team on his back even after falling short and said, "You know what? I got you. let me go ahead and carry us the rest of the way. So for me, Dame's the MVP. Dame had the most pressure because he asked for the playing game, and then he showed up and put his team in position to get there. Devin Booker did all he could to try and get there, but I got to give it to Dame. He scored the most points out of anybody.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was putting up 60-point games with 2 assists. No, he had a 61-point game with 9 assists?
Almost a triple-double, yeah.
Yeah, almost triple-double. So it's like he's not just scoring, he's also dishing out the ball. So he really put the team on his back. That's what an MVP is for me.
That's a good point.
I feel you, Casey. I feel you. However, I look at MVP a little different than a lot of people do. I look at MVP as, if I took this player off of this team, what would they do? So I'll give you a scenario. We're not going to go with 8 games. We got 15 games left in the regular season. It's regular. We ain't in the bubble or nothing. It's regular. You took Dame. Dame went down. They played 5 games. Both teams went 5-0. Devin Booker and Dame on Portland. Both teams 5-0. Dame went down. Even with CJ, Melo, and everything else, he got 10 games. I'm thinking they going 5-5 in those 10 games. Devin Booker go down. They 5-0 now. Devin Booker go down for those last 10 games. I'm not counting even.
They losing every game.
I'm not counting.
But to counter that, Devin Booker has played a lot for Phoenix, and they still come in bottom of the league every year.
Yeah.
So whether he's there or not, the Suns are typically not a good team. You know, I get what you're saying, that the Blazers could be good without Dame, but even without Dame, they're only going to be but so good.
Yeah.
At that point, we're talking about the Blazers being a legit 8 seed and possibly missing the playoffs in the West without Dame there. I get that point, but I would just say my rebuttal to that would be that even with Devin Booker there, the Suns aren't a good team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a reason they just went 8-0 and still couldn't even get in the play-in game because they're just that far out. Now, also, I do think they have a very bright future. DeAndre Ayton, as long as he's healthy, he's really good. And I really like, I think his name, Caleb Johnson from North Carolina. I liked him coming into the league. I thought he was very NBA ready. And Rubio coming there, and they didn't even have Kelly Olynyk for the playoffs. So I mean, they have pieces there. They got a coach that they believe in, but just this year, I mean, they're just not ready. It'd have been cool to see them in the play-in game against the Blazers. That would have been cool. That would have. Yeah. But to see them in the playoffs, I mean, we already know what we're going to get with that situation. Honestly.
Let me ask y'all this though. Y'all saying, Phoenix is just a piece away. Let's say they get that piece in this offseason.
Well, I'm not saying that.
I don't think nobody a couple of pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are developments and pieces away. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple people that got to grow up.
Right.
They got
just making sure.
They cool to watch though. They cool to watch.
Yeah, they are. They cool. You staying up there that 10:30 game. They playing the Clippers, Portland on cool on the doubleheader. You gonna
if Phoenix was in the Eastern Conference, they'll be probably a 6 or 7 seed. But it just happens that Western Conference.
You know, if Portland wasn't injured, Portland would be a 4th seed.
Yeah, Portland's not an 8 seed.
You can use that argument with a lot of West teams. They put them in the East. Like,
what we saying is Portland finally getting healthy.
Yeah.
They're constructed. They're literally a top 5 team in the West, like constructed right now, like what they got. So
you said Dame. You said Dame. Neil, you said you going with who?
D Book.
You going with Book? All right, so we got 3 Books, 2 Dames.
One more Dame. I got Dame. Every year, time and again. Dame gotta show y'all. Dame just gotta show y'all.
Well, aren't you a Blazers fan?
Heck, yes, I'm a Blazers fan. Yes, I'm a Blazers fan. Especially when they got Melo. When they got Melo, I am a Blazers fan.
I'm a Blazers fan too.
Every year.
You're not a Blazers fan. You're a Melo fan. Both of y'all.
I'm a Melo fan and I'm a Dame fan.
I'm a Rocket fan, but I'm a Melo fan.
But with MVP, I just hate that it's just down to these two teams. You know, you see Luka Doncic out there, you see him balling out, you see all these other people balling out, but we gotta look at the bottom feeders because they're trying to fight their way in. So you're more invested in these people as MVPs. But if I had to give it to him, it's definitely Dame. Way more valuable. Like you said, if Dame go down, they might win 5 games. If Book go down, I'm not even turning that channel on. I'm not even betting the FanDuel 25 cents for that. So that's why I'm sitting here saying, like, Devin Booker, give it like 2 or 3 more years. If he's still putting up 60, if he's still doing Kobe stuff, I'm giving him MVP every time. But Dame, every year, if you disrespect him, he coming at you, put some respect on my name, and he's showing out. I think Dame is definitely the MVP.
You know who Devin Booker reminds me of?
Oh.
And this is when you guys, when I, no disrespect, when people say no disrespect, that means they're going to disrespect you. So, but then Devin Booker reminds me of Agent Zero. When you guys, same size, same attitude, same
Jersey Zero
franchise that he putting up big numbers for. That the franchise ain't going nowhere. to the playing game or to the opening round, and they're gonna get swept out of there, barely get 1 game. But Devin Booker gonna have 60 in every game, and he gonna do stuff, and you go, wow. He gonna lead. He gonna lead the conference or lead the NBA in playoff scoring because he only gonna play 4 games.
So if you put Devin
in each of them.
If you put Devin Booker on a winning situation, he's going to do kind of like what Kyrie Irving did with LeBron. Like, he's going to show, like, all right, I'm one of the best players in the league. He's just in a bad situation.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, if you put Devin Booker on the Bucks, with Giannis, like, you'll see, like, how good he is when he actually has a chance to win a championship. So I think he needs to just either build there or go somewhere else and literally show, like, all right, I'm that guy. Because Devin Booker, he's the truth. Like,
I feel like that's what Draymond's talking about. I feel like Draymond feel for him because as a player, you see the situation that he in, and you like, damn, they not building the pieces around you yet. Like, you can go to another team that's already set, and y'all ball out, and y'all be in the playoffs.
Only 23 years old.
I just want to say they I think as though they have been building. They started with the DeAndre Ayton pick.
We've been there 1 year,
but he's like,
they're in the. But listen,
exactly. So he's like, what do you owe Phoenix? He's like, what do you owe Phoenix right now?
But but you gotta remember they're in the West, so like they're going against all these powerhouse teams. So like what you said, if you put them in the Eastern Conference, they're a good team. But you're going against the Lakers, Clippers. You're going against who else? Denver. You're going against Portland. You're going against these good teams that are better than you, the Mavericks and all of that. And you can be good, but you are going to be stunted by. You're not even talking about when Steph and Clay come back. And the Warriors are there. So it's a really tough conference for them. So I think they're doing good, and they have done pieces to build around Devin Booker, and it's only going to get better. But like, there's only so much you really could do in the West because you got to go through all these tough teams.
But they are the next youngest team to make that leap, like Denver did, building through the draft, made a couple trades. Denver did, and Phoenix. They're that next youngest team to make a leap. Not saying they're gonna make a tremendous leap and end up like Denver in 3rd. They may end up the 7th seed.
It's really been good the last 2 years. They've gotten some good trades, being able to trade Ariza away to bring in a younger Kelly Oubre. They brought in Rubio. They're able to they're going to have to build that way. But the West is not built for a team like them to be able to have the time to grow. And I feel sorry for a lot of these coaches, like Alvin Gentry and them, who don't get that time to grow a young team and develop a young team in the West. Because it's all about winning now. It's all about winning. Orlando has been stuck in the mud for probably the last 4 years, and yet I look up and they're in the playoffs every year. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just the difference. And I don't even like to do that Eastern Conference, Western Conference stuff because I'm all about it is what it is. We got an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. That's just what it is. But when you're talking about a situation like the Suns, you have to understand that yeah, they're a developing team, but considering the conference that they play in, it does tend to make them look worse than they are. But I'm not just going to say because they went 8-0 in a bubble that I think that next year, the Suns are in the playoffs, because I mean, they could easily turn out to be another year of the bottom 3 teams in the league, easily.
Right.